I'm sure everybody knows about smoothie, but what we're discussing today are the type of smoothies that are perfect for those that are actively trying for children, or those that have age-related infertility issues, or those that are continuously always treating infections or sexually transmitted diseases, or not even maybe dietary transmitted diseases, or those that are struggling with weight maintenance, those that are very busy but need vital minerals and vitamins in their diet but don't know how to. So I'm going to introduce you to my signature favorite 3 recipes for fertile smoothies. They are quick, they are easy to make, they are healthy, okay, and it's just, you know, like a liquid drink that replaces a meal, and it gives you the allowance of essential vitamins and minerals. They aid digestion and they taste absolutely great, without any artificial sweetener, without any additives, all organic and naturals, gluten-free and good fats that are essential for you. So frozen banana is a go-to, you know, when it comes to these are organic bananas, okay, the native bananas. I already had them frozen, so it's easy and gets the blender working faster. So I'll first blend the banana, okay, and our ground cocoa. This is organic plain cocoa. This is not chocolate. This is plain cocoa. So this will be the first that would go in. When I'm building my smoothie, the first thing I do is to select my liquid, okay? So the liquid base I will be using is a coconut milk liquid base. That's what this is, a matured organic coconut. You can hear the oil, and we'll have to bottle it into a glass. The next thing to choose is for me to choose my base, my thickener, which I already mentioned, my banana, my frozen bananas, okay? For my green, I have my frozen avocado. Yes, you can freeze avocado, just like you can't eat them like regular avocado afterwards. So I always freeze my fruits and I cut them into chunks, so it's easy to just throw into the blender, and I pour into my glass smoothie bottle, and I'm on my way. Avocado and banana are my favorites, you know. I actually prefer the consistency that bananas give to my smoothies. So you can really experiment with what works for you. Just have fun experimenting with the array of fruits, you know, the herbs and the seeds and the spices that really make your smoothie great. You can work with the grapes, the mangoes, okay, the kiwis, citrus, and even work with the seeds, the chia seeds, okay? So these are things that you can work with. So let's meet the ingredients. First, the ingredients for our smoothie. This is the grapes. The grapes are very high in vitamin B and high content. These are organic dates. I already had them soaked in water overnight and frozen, so they will be easy to peel off and to use. Okay, I'm just using 3 of it to take the measurements. All right, so just 3 medium-sized dates. Okay, this is the natural sweetener that we're going to be using, and they are really, really nice. You know, they give that flair and that sugary taste without using raw sugar. All right, so good old garlic, just a golf size is fine for this particular smoothie, and 3 cherry tomatoes, red apple, then a slice of beetroot. Beetroot is a fantastic source of antioxidants. It contains this antioxidant called the resveratrol. It combats age-related infertility. If you're above 25 and you're still trying for a child, this should be a staple part of your diet. It supplies the nutrients known to improve, you know, blood flow to the sexual organs, making them useful for male fertility, and supports healthy uterus during embryo implantation. So the first 6 weeks of, you know, pregnancy, or even when you're doing IVF egg transfer, this is your guy. So there you have it. My equipment is just our blender, our food processor, our measuring spoon, our very good knife, because we're going to do a couple of chop. We start right off by first building our liquid base, okay? So this is pure filtered water. Okay, I am using the measurement of half a liter, that's 500 ml. I pour into the blender, I already had my coconut crushed and washed. All right, so you know something about smoothies, they help you lose excess body weight without skipping any meals. I am not a fan of all this fad diet because about 70% of our body is water. So having smoothie as breakfast, as brunch is a great way to replenish the loss of water that your body, you know, emits during the day. Especially if you're still in childbearing age, people trying to lose weight often skip, you know, the morning meal, but end up snacking on large amounts of, you know, healthy meals between meals. You know, to avoid this, I always advise that you have your smoothie made up of excellent fruits and flavors so you can stay full for the whole of the day. So let's get blending. So we've been blending for about 2 minutes thereabouts, and you can see what it looks like. Blended for another 2 minutes to have it finer, and you can see how it's all foamy and lush, so it's good to go. Next, after our liquid base, is to have our clear base. I always like to have my creamy clear base. I can use it to layer with other smoothie types. So I often do that when I'm using the coconut milk as my liquid base. I often start up with the coconut liquid. This is the coconut water, the water in the coconuts. So that's the first thing that goes into, you know, my blender. This is matured coconut. You can see all the lush water that came out from it. Our clear base smoothie is ready. Just banana and Greek unsweetened yogurt and our coconut water and some coconut milk. There you see. So I'm going to share this portion into two because I want to form my own chocolates. I want to make a layered chocolate. So I have my organic ground cocoa and a dash of cinnamon, so which I'm going to add to half of this to make my chocolate. Okay, so I've shared this into two. Okay, there we have our chocolate mix.
Wow, smoothies there. And like I did say, that was Chika Samuels. Now permit me to read a little bit about Chika Samuels here. After 7 years of waiting, Chika and her husband got blessed with a great young man. During these years of waiting, her life transformed in several multifaceted ways that inspires the why behind her inspiration towards making the world a better place. She isn't just a fertility coach, which I have not said she is, but you already now know that she is. Her goal is to influence people to take ownership of their lives, be able to make and stick with deliberate lifestyle choices for a total life turnaround. Chika Samuels is a, simply put, fertility coach who brings fertility to you through alternative therapies or alternative remedies, if you may. Ladies and gentlemen, Chika Samuel. Welcome.
Hello, thank you so much. Thank you.
It's finally good to have you here. You're such a very busy person.
Oh yeah, we have to make our time for what's important. It's good to be here. Thank you.
You know, all the time I called you and you couldn't make it, I just thought in my head you're busy grinding one or blending one fruit or the other. Good to have you in the
word
studio.
to save. Yes.
Before we go into what you do, we started the show off. By the way, our phone lines are open for our viewers. We'd like you to call us, tell us what you make of what you've heard earlier on the show about the food scarcity and the decision by the members of Amalgamated Cattle Dealers and Farmers Association to demand the sum of 4.75 billion naira for compensation of what they say is injustice meted out on them. Call us, let's have your thoughts. In the meantime, Chika Samuel is here. Now, we talked about scarcity of food from as these guys were striking and they were stopping these truckloads of tomatoes, fruits, mentioned them, from the north to the southwest. How did that affect what you do? Because primarily you rely on these fruits that mostly come from the north.
Yes, fertility, optimal fertility cannot be achieved, and we have a lot of sound research bodies out there that proves that they cannot be achieved without the right diet. So food intervention is very, very critical, and when it becomes scarce and too expensive to source or not available, it makes it almost impossible for those that need it to get it and to prepare it or take it in the right quantities that are vital for optimum health or for optimum fertility. So of course it does have an impact, and it's something that the intending parents that I'm working with in our fertility coaching programs, complain about. We say we have to take this in the morning, take this at lunch, take this at dinner, but we can't find it in the market. Oh, it's pretty expensive. Where do I get this? Where would I get that? Because we are so blessed in this country with organic and rich minerals and foods that are so wholesome, and fresh, but not having them available is a big deal, and it sure does affect those that need them. Yeah.
So don't you think that the people of the South or the Southwest should begin to grow these things that you say we sure do need?
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
In commercial quantity, because
yes.
I know we do grow them,
yeah.
but I mean in commercial quantity.
Yes, the world is going homemade now, organic, do it yourself. So it's a welcome idea. It's where the world is going. You need to build an environment that is sustainable around you, where you can get your own meals in the right quantities, free of pesticides, of herbicides, and all these preservatives that are culprits to fertility, that you can grow yourself. So, and if you have a farmland or something, that's where the world is going, do it yourself. And that is what is encouraged. We should do it.
Now, I noticed in my first two questions, I wanted to hear about the Naira and Kobo aspect and the scarcity, which you brought in the scarcity part. But in answering my first two questions, you mentioned fertility. It's just about fertility for you. So let's quickly delve into the fertility angle, because that's very well your comfort zone. It's month of March, and we're celebrating women, hence the topic of women and fertility. You waited how long?
7 years.
7 years?
Oh, yeah.
And all that 7 years, I guess science must have told you you're wearing fitter.
Oh, yes. That's what we hear. You're not fertile, you're not gonna. I'm that woman that was told that you cannot have a child without. Just go home, just keep trying, probably you adopt someday and all that. But I knew deep down that there was something I could do. And why were my medical practitioners silent about it is that they did not know what to do, or they didn't want to tell me, because that the pharmaceutical industry is a $1 trillion business. We must appreciate that. So there were obstructions to optimum fertility that were silent. But I had to take some steps back and do some self-questioning and assessment. Is there something I could do in terms of self-care to increase my chances? Yeah? And the answer is yes. So I went into sound meta-analysis research of a lot of hours, to dig in, into medical journals. What can I do in terms of self-care, in terms of dietary intervention, lifestyle modifications to increase my chances? And we were seeing that in the results, it was helping. In the health quality, it was helping. In the sperm quality, it was helping. It was working. Where, the PMS were going, the symptoms were disappearing, and we're living better. And we knew that whatever it was that we were doing was working. And, it gave me, and when I was able to win with those tools, I was encouraged. I wrote a book just after I gave birth, and it's encouraged me to also, reach out to others. And the more I shared my story, the more I found out that there were a whole lot of people, that were where I was, and they didn't have someone like me, you know, we're discussing the women industry and gender inequality right now. Fertility is a very sensitive subject. It has this cultural stigma around it. You don't talk about it, it's hush-hush.
You mean infertility?
Yes, infertility, yes. So when things are hush-hush and they are spoken in low tones, ignorance thrives, yeah? People, there's a lot of junk out there, eat this, drink this, rub this, and get pregnant quick, fast, you know, results that are not working, that will only take you around cycles. So when I won with mine, I was encouraged to share these thoughts and these tools.
And what makes you think that some viewers right now, or some of your clients, won't think that you're presenting to them some sort of quick solution as well? Eat this, drink this. I hope you're not contradicting what you do.
No, no, no. What we run in the Soprecious Fertility and Lifestyle is a program.
So just Soprecious Fertility and Lifestyle coaching program.
It's a program. Okay. It's a process.
Just so it's out there,
yes,
Soprecious. And I just need to add here, you said you wrote a book, Getting Pregnant with Ease. That's by Chika Samuel, and it's richly it's contained with several therapeutic alternative therapies and stories that would inspire you. And what more can we find in it?
In fact, the foreword of this book is written by the best there is right now in West Africa gynecologist. Okay, and this book is an Amazon best-selling in the fertility genre. So it has everything that is in it is based on sound meta-analysis research, tried and proven, evidence-based. Okay. They are not talks. They are not trial and error. Okay. There are things that if you're a voracious reader, you can read up yourself. They are in plain sight. Okay. So they are tried and proven. So you were
going to answer my question as to
the program
not being seen as a quick solution to the problem of infertility.
Yes, oh sure. I always tell people you can't fix a problem on the same level on which it was created. A program got you there. If you're trying for a child actively for longer than 2 years, something is wrong. Even if you're vying for secondary fertility options like IVF, IUIs, they are not foolproof science. They are not quick fixes. They are not magic bullets. Okay, if there are obstructions to optimal fertility like fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, and they are not identified and fixed, that might just be a failed resource, intervention, and that will just take the person round circles over again. So what this book and what the program that we produce, okay, we take people through coaching programs. We bridge the gap between your conventional medical practitioner and self-care, empowering you to do what you can to improve your chances.
Do you have a background in medical science?
I know, and that's a question that someone asked my life coach when he spoke so much about COVID and all that. Okay. Do you have a background? I am a safety professional. I'm a health professional, and that's what I do. Okay, but I'm a voracious reader, and I'm truth-seeking. I seek out knowledge. I'm through seeking, and I like to try things before I speak about them. And we have loads and loads. If you go to our blogs and our social media platform, we'll have pictures of babies, pregnancy announcements. Why? Because what we're doing is working. It's a process. So because the body was made to procreate.
You have clients that you've seen through their trying times to the point of delivery, several of them.
From pregnancy to baby and beyond.
When you started facing your own challenges and you regularly visited your gynecologist or your doctor and you were told all the negative stories and you had to take a step back, started your own research and started your own therapy, and you began to see results, what kind of responses did you get from those who, quote unquote, were the medical experts who had said, no, this couldn't happen?
Okay.
Did you get back to them?
Yes, the person that wrote the foreword did the second failed IVF. He's my very good friend.
Oh, so you've had that?
Yes, he wrote the foreword of this book.
You've had that IVF first?
Yes, I had 3 failed IVFs. And my question was, okay, I had uterine fibroids, which is a very critical obstruction to optimum fertility. And when the first one failed, when I was taking the step back, like you said, was there something I could have done?
Hold your thoughts. We have our first caller on the show. I don't know if our caller want to talk to us about what we're talking about now or the food scarcity. Who's live to us from Edo State? Okay. Okay, we lost that call. Our phone lines are still open. Please call us and let's have your contribution. We're looking at the month of celebrating women, and on the show we have Chika Samuel talking about attaining fertility through alternative means, basically fruits and the right food or lifestyle. Yes.
Yes, so I was saying that there are obstructions to fertility that must be identified and addressed.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And if that is not done, it increases the chances of failed sexual attempts or conception attempts. IVF, by research, is about 30 to 50% chance, and that is in a perfect situation when there are no obstructions. But where there are, in medicine they call it minor critical factors, they compound the likelihood of failure of that intervention.
I see.
So what we do, of course, there are cases where IVF was made for. For example, if they have totally blocked fallopian tubes or no sperm cells or destruction of the sperm structure, the DNA, those are the cases where IVF was made for. But in our programs, we handhold you to ensure that you make the best of the situation, because it's a whole lot. It's not just the money that it's psychologically, it's emotionally draining. So if it's what doing well, is there something that you can do to increase your chances? Emphatically, yes. And to answer your question, when I was going through the first failed one, the second failed one, was there something I asked, was there something that I could do to increase my chances? The response was quite unclear. So this is the gap in the fertility industry, in the health niche, that the fertility coach handles, yes, because we are coming in from the self-care side, empowering you with the tools. There's something you can do. You're not handicapped to just sit across your gynecologist and just listen. There is something you can do with that diagnosis. It's not a death sentence. It's not the end of the road. There is something you definitely can do in terms of self-care to improve your chances.
You sound so ferocious. I want to believe it's because of the results you see coming out of what you do, especially as you yourself is a living testimony of what you do. And so I wouldn't blame you for your veracity that you bring on this show. But you did say something that caught my attention. You said there are situations where IVF is meant for, when you have situations such as you have completely blocked fallopian tubes, the sperm cells, Are you then saying that for someone or a couple that have this particular scenario, completely blocked fallopian tubes and sperm cells, low sperm cells or no sperm cells, your therapy cannot work for them?
Our program increases your chances. That's what I'm saying, because IVF, IUIs, and all, they are not foolproof signs. They are not magical bullets that they give the injection and voila, you're pregnant. If that's the case, I wouldn't have 3 failed ones. Last week on my show, I had a lady that had 11 failed IVFs. 11. She had a set of twins now, 2 boys, on our program. So what am I saying is that it's not a foolproof science. We can increase your chances, because the chances are really, and the fertility window for a woman is really small. And as she declines in age, it also affects something like egg qualities and all that. But what my narrative is, and what I'm against, passionately against, is for you, for these critical factors not to be fully given attention to be identified, instead of just shipping you down to IVFs. There are countless couples that have come to us, and their diagnoses are screaming, hormone balance needed, and all they needed were herbal therapies and not IVF. Why ship them down to get egg donors and sperm donors? They really don't need them. But maybe their medical practitioner did not know, okay, because this research we're talking about updates very frequently. So it really takes time to keep, updated in this thing. Or they knew, and for obvious reasons, they are not telling you, and that is how, like I said, is the assisted reproductive technology is a $1 trillion, industry. And the return on investments of these stakeholders are on egg donors, sperm donors, IVF, IUIs. That's how they make their money. If you go to your conventional doctor and he gives you herbal therapies, tell you, identify your stress hormones, it helps you improve your sleep quality, which are critical intangibles that affect and impact infertility or fertility process. If he tells you that, you're not going to come back. You're not going to come back, because now you've got the solution and you can procreate. You can have as many children as you want. But if he keeps it mysterious and keeps it within his control and makes you feel, oh, there's nothing you can do about it, you're going to come back. Even if you survive and have 1 child, you're going to come back for the 2nd and the 3rd, and that's how.
Okay, we've seen, we do know that we are living in a society globally, not just in our local terrain or society. We're living in a society that doesn't promote alternative therapy, which is what it is, what you're doing. It's an alternative therapy. It's not medical science, so to speak. It's an alternative to medical science with results. In this society, where the experts, again, you notice I quote them, put them in quotes because they are experts, but in this discussion, we want to keep them aside and bring you, who the show is all about here, as the expert. The medical experts don't seem to want to promote alternative therapy. Like, you do know there are solutions that are readily available at our disposal, but we don't want to do that because of commercial gains. What are the challenges, or how has it been challenging for you to break through the dominance, the capitalism of the medical scientific world?
Of course, whenever there is an alternative, cheaper and easier do-it-yourself solution, you're going to step on toes, is expected, okay? Because the people that have been there and they are making gains from there are going to come for you. So always on our programs, we always ask you, we're not replacing the place of your conventional medical practitioner. Okay. We'll ask you to please run our program, our supplementational plan, whatever we're giving you, please run it by your nutritionist, by your, before you progress. We have that disclaimer, okay? So before you progress, and we'll ask you, we give you resources. The approach we take is educational. So we are equipping you to do it yourself, like they say, showing you how to fish, and not just giving you pills and injections, which are also hormonal disrupting. But we're telling you how to help your body do what it's supposed to do, because your body was meant to procreate. When a fertile egg meets a fertile sperm, we ought to have healthy babies. If that is not happening, you need answers to questions, like the funny ones I'm having these days, unexplainable infertility. What the hell is that? I'm paying you to explain the infertility. You're coming back with the diagnosis that is unexplainable. There is no such thing. But these are intangibles, like hormonal disrupting chemicals in your environment, things in your food, environmental toxins. These are intangibles, stress, sleep quality. But how many conventional doctors have time to sit down and educate you on this?
I'm going to read the minds of our audience. I'm wondering why we haven't had the calls come through anymore. The last caller I was thinking was going to call back, but if I may, try to be telepathic in a way, read the minds of our audience. What causes fibroid? I know that is one question too many people would want to ask.
It's a multifaceted answer. There are several things that are not just fibroids, but other infertility illnesses. And that is why our program is very broad. We attack it from different aspects. The first and very easy ways to attack is the dietary intervention and lifestyle.
I'm not even talking about attacking it. I'm talking about, what is the primary cause of fibroid? For
fibroids, exactly, I would say that most African, American and African women have higher tendencies to have that growth. But the question is, a lot of women give birth with fibroids. The question I always ask people to ask, the right question is asked, is what promotes the growth of fibroids? Okay. Because that is where there is a problem. It's when they become so big, they become an obstruction to fertility.
So the cause might not be known,
yes.
But what triggers it?
Almost every black woman as you pass puberty age, it's expected. Every medical doctor will tell you.
Is more susceptible to fibroid.
Yes, especially the blacks. So when it becomes a problem is when it's obstructing your wellness. Maybe you're not actively trying for a child, or you're having painful menstruation and your cycles, or you're trying for a child and they tell you, oh, it's blocking the womb or it's in the path. So the question should be more going, what promotes the growth? So now what promotes the growth is found mostly in diet, lifestyle, and environmental toxins. So that's what I was talking about, the three facets that we attack them. And a lot of times when we do, because it's like when you want to uproot an iroko tree, you don't cut it from the stem and say, oh, well, you're fine, and you take a walk. You need to uproot it. So what is fostering the growth? And a lot of people have fibroid surgeries, and it regrows. So now it's not a case of the fibroid, because the surgery had fixed it. So if it was a case of the fibroids, there shouldn't be a regrowth. So what causes the regrowth? Why is it increasing in mass? There is something that is feeding on. So we need to identify what is feeding on, which is mostly found in diets. Okay, for example, I could give a tip. If you're snacking on flour products, you're snacking on flour grains, you're snacking on frozen foods, imported foods, processed food, packaged foods. These contain preservatives, and they contain what I call fertility triggers and fertility culprits. These are what it feeds on. Yeah. So in your diet, flour product, pastries, cake, chocolates, these are all what it feeds on, and this is what increases. Of course, there are environmental toxins like your pesticides and all that, you know, your fragrance in your personal care products. These are intangibles, and also stress hormones.
Ms. Samuels, I know you'd agree with me if I tell you that the little time we have on this show, though you've said much, but can't be enough to exhaust all that you might have had to say. But I'm sure you've said a lot, and I'm sure our viewers must have gained a lot from it. Our guest today has been Chika Samuels. She's a fertility coach. She adopts alternative therapy or remedies through, to solving infertility issues, generally also bringing about a change in lifestyle for a healthy living. Chika Samuels, I want to say a very big thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to seeing your husband, because you've said so much about him at the back of your book. Well, viewers, I'll crave your indulgence to join us same time next week as we bring you another interesting edition. Remember, it's just conversations. We sit down here and talk about what's happening. If you have something you want us to talk about, go to our handle on King's Chat and tell us about it. You can send us an SMS as well on the numbers that you were supposed to call and tell us what you want to talk about. And hopefully you will bring it here and have that conversation. My name is Marshall Anthony Onoye. If you forget everything, don't forget my name. God bless you.